Like cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a distant land.
Good news and there's bad news. Right. Now which news you want first? Well, if you give me the good news without the bad news, that don't grab you, that don't work. Alright, well let me get the bad news. Everyone must die. There's more bad news. God is going to judge our lives. But the good news, God sent Jesus Christ so we can serve our death sentence and then bring new life.
It's the Good News Talk Show with your host, Timashion the Visionaire. What up, Doe?
The Ghetto Fade to Black. Welcome to another edition of the Good News Talk Show. I know what y'all saying is, I've been gone for a while. When is he gonna put up another show? Well, this is it. I have to explain to everybody what happened. When I first started the Good News Talk Show, I was like laid off, so I had like a lot of time to put into the show to make it good. Now I got a job, and I've been working like 12 hours every day, and we had a baby. So it's been a lot for me to, make the show what I wanted it to be, But today I'm going to talk about something very dear to my heart. It's something that I've experienced that I want to be able to share with you and explain some things that you can do to help prepare yourself for this type of situation. As I mentioned, I was laid off. I'll never forget the day, March 31st. It was actually yesterday. And, I got a call from the boss, and he was like, I need you to come up front. And I came up there. And, they sat back and did their whole spiel. Like, once I realized what it was and I saw, like, people outside that was getting ready to walk me out, the whole time they were talking to me was like a blur. They was like, blah, 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 layoff. Blah, blah. I was like, man, I can't believe it, because I felt like I did such a pretty good job that there was some people under me or that did a worse job that if anybody would leave, I knew it would be them, not me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to coach them, hey, man, you need to get your stuff together. They doing layoffs, and it was me, So, once I sat there and I was like, wow, like, I've been working since I was 16. I've never been fired or laid off. This is my first time, actually getting all these papers and your insurance going in tomorrow and all that stuff, and it was just crazy. But when I left, I kind of had a sense of peace because I kind of felt that I'd be okay. But when I got home, I told my wife, hey, baby, I'm laid off. And she was like, okay, well, we're going to be all right. She was kind of encouraging me and stuff. So I really didn't feel too bad. I was cool. But it really didn't hit me until like that Friday. I got laid off on Tuesday. And Friday is when it hit me because I woke up late for work. I looked at the clock. I was like, man, I don't even have enough time to take a shower. I jumped up, grabbed clothes out the closet. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't have a job. I just sat on the bed, man, and it hit me. I was like, man, I just started crying. like, I don't have a job, So it took a couple days for it really to sink in. And, at that point, I got that all out the way. And then it's time to shake the dust off and get another job. So first thing I did was I updated my resume. I spent about a good 8 hours, 2 days, just sitting there, tightening up my resume, updating it. And what I wish I would have done, and what I can tell you to do now, if you have a job, make sure your resume is updated while you're at work, because then you got access to those little files, those numbers, the savings that you did. You can kind of talk to people, update the resume beforehand, so when you leave out and they walk you out, you got a finished resume ready to pass out. That's a good tip for people who have a job. But if you don't have a job, make sure your resume is tight. I spent the whole day on the resume, then uploading my stuff to every single job search engine, known to man. And that right there is like one of the most depressing things, just uploading your stuff. Oh, they got a job. Upload this, upload that. And thing is, I wasn't getting no calls from nobody. Not only did I upload the resume to their website, I got up, put my suit on, I walked out there. It was raining. I had my umbrella and everything. They had gravel parking lot. I had on dress shoes, getting dirty. I didn't care. And I went up to say, hey man, I need to get us to HR. And they was like, nah, security just stopped me and said, no, you can't give it to HR. And they said you gotta mail it. And I'm like, I did mail it. I did fax it. I did upload it to the internet. Now I'm bringing it to you too. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, no, you gotta do. I say, hey man, hey. It's hard out here, I could give him my little spiel. I said, can you give it to him? He said, all right, well, I'll give it to him. I was like, what's your name? I got his name. Then I called them back. I said, did you get my resume? I'm Timashion. You get my resume? You get my resume? And they was like, well, we got to check. I said, I faxed it. I uploaded to the site. I mailed it. And I dropped it off to Jim, the security guard. You know what I'm saying? Then they said, yes, sir, we got it. We got it. A week later, I got a call. They was like, we'd like to schedule you for an interview. I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I went up there, got interviewed. I was excited, you know. And once I left the interview, I filled out thank you cards and dropped them off to all the people that I interviewed. I interviewed about 4 people. I got their names, first and last names, and I put it on thank you cards, and I mailed it. As soon as I left, the next mailbox I saw, I went, pulled up, stopped, wrote them all out, and I mailed them boys. So once I finally got for another interview, they called me another time. And then once I left there, they was like, yeah, we're going to give you the job. And I was asking them, first I asked the lady, I said, how many people submitted for this position? They said we uploaded the position on Monday, and by Friday we had 800 people that submitted for this one position. I said, wow. So I got, out of 800 people, I got selected for an interview, and then out of the 20 or 30 people that they interviewed, I got selected for the job, you know. And then when I talked to the people, I was like, so how many other thank you cards did you get? And they was like, oh, no, you're the only one. One of the guys was like, yeah, that's what sold it for me, because you gave the thank you card. I'm like, wow. So I made sure my resume was on tight resume paper, the hard card stock. I made sure that I had it in a resume envelope, and I made sure I sent out thank you card. Up in here, you might have to spend about $25, $30 just to make sure that you set yourself apart. You got to make sure you get some resume paper, envelopes, and some thank you cards. You know, send out a thank you card when I get this interview. You know, right here. These are $10 thank you cards right here. So here's the thing. See, you got some little resume folder envelopes that you can put them in. Then you also got the resume paper. One of the frustrations I had was constantly uploading my resume to site after site after site. And I was like, you know what? I need to start calling some people. So I called everybody who I knew that, one, had a job. You know, are you looking for a job? And that's the power of networking. You know, Jesus, he made a powerful statement when he told the disciples, cast your nets out to the deep. And what they did was, when they casted them out, they caught such a great multitude of fish that the boat began to sink. So what's the moral of the story? Well, if you want to catch some fish, make sure you network. You know what I'm saying? You like that? No? You might be smart. You know. Anyway, networking is very powerful. And, you know, if you got somebody who you know needs a job, I mean, just submit it. Don't, they're going to mess my name up. Look, man, it might be you out there trying to get a job. There's some very important tips that I got to give you to make sure that you on track, all right? Before you even get to the interview, pull up, open up a mirror. Make sure you don't got no boogers in your nose. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you ain't got no eye boogers. Make sure you ain't got nothing in your teeth. Do a face check. Make sure you tight. You know what I'm saying? Don't put on no perfume or cologne. Because as soon as you get there, somebody might be like, oh, you smell like my ex-husband. You smell like my ex-wife. You don't want that. Just smell like nothing. Just smell like deodorant. That's all you need to smell like. You know what I'm saying? They're not hiring you because they feel sorry for you. They're not hiring you because, you know, you look cool. They're hiring you because you can help them make money. All right? So you have to present your answers in a way that, oh yeah, I saved this amount of money. I can do this. I can do that. With my experience and education, I can save you this amount of money. Now, there's 2 ways to answer questions. There's STAR and then there's PAR. STAR is situation, task, action, result. So somebody asks you a question, you say, bam, here's the situation, here was the task, here was the action, these are the results. Or there's a shorter version called a PAR, and that's problem, action, resolution. You present the problem, what action you took, and what was the resolution. It's always in favor of yourself. You made this happen. If it wasn't for you, it probably wouldn't have happened. There's a lot of people out here trying to get jobs, especially in Michigan, and you got to make sure you do everything to set yourself apart from everybody else. And these are the few tips that I can give based on my experience. I am working now, so they do work. I hope you was blessed. This has been another edition of the Good News Talk Show, Life After Layoff, and we out with the I Got a Job, Ghetto Fade to Black.